Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake up, wake up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh.
Let's talk about our weeks and then do flood after. You know what I mean? Like things we did this week and then we'll talk about the flood.
No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up.
We just do.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
What is happening?
Wake up. Wake up. In Provincetown. In Provincetown. This week featuring
Have the audio.
Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please. Hey. Oh. Hey. Wake up, wake up. Oh. No, really, can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Wake up, wake up. Good morning, everybody. Wake up. Wake up, wake up. In Provincetown. This week featuring Wake up, wake up. Can I have some coffee? Wake up, wake up. Make it strong, please.
Good morning, everyone. We're having some slight technical difficulties, so if we don't sound or look as good as always, we're figuring it out.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah.
It's Friday, December 30th. It's the last show of the year. Thank you all so much for being with us in 2022.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I'm really looking forward to the new year.
Oh, yeah. I love drinking.
Well, no, I mean, there came many points in 2022 where I was just like, I'm over this year, and I'm ready for it to be a different one.
See, I don't compartmentalize my time by years. It's seasons for me.
Yeah.
I made a resolution after I stopped working at the end of October because that is a better. Oh, look at us! There's two of us. There's like a better. That's a better
demarcation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hi. Good morning. Sorry, the technical difficulties threw me off. I'm spooked. Okay, we can switch back. Perfect. Give us one moment.
Okay.
There you go. Yes, but.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Wake Up in Provincetown. It's December 30th. It is our last show of 2022.
They already heard all that.
Oh, yeah.
They didn't not see what we just did.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm excited for a fun New Year's Eve weekend.
Yeah.
It's wild in town.
Oh, God, yeah.
Everywhere I've been over the past few days has been packed to the brim.
Well, we're going to get more on the flood later, but
if you don't know, if you're not aware, we had some horrible weather last weekend, sort of during the show.
Yeah.
It was happening last Friday and then immediately afterward. But unfortunately, Finizi's in the East End, one of my main go-tos, especially in the off-season, is not open to us right now. And you don't really realize how often you go somewhere until you can't go there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was like my main lunch place. And now, you know, the other day I was like, what's even open on a Tuesday for lunch? Like, it already felt like there wasn't a whole lot. And I was like, oh, happy to discover that the Governor Bradford was open. That's a big restaurant. It was completely full. Every seat had someone in it. There was one bartender and one waitress. And the waitress was Jamie, the owner, who we had on the show.
Damn.
And I'm watching the two of them.
You're like, do you need me to help?
I was like, I can pick up a shift.
Right.
Like, I'll bust right now. Like, maintaining their cool.
Wow.
The people were being really patient. But I was like, I've never seen it so busy at lunchtime, you know?
That's one thing I would definitely say if you come to Provincetown in the off season, especially for these, or not normally, but these busy weekends, is like, most places are not staffed to be as busy as they are for weekends like this, like other weekends that tend to be busy. It's like, just because a billion people decided to come to town for that weekend doesn't like magically make more employees appear.
Right.
Like, people are staffed for the off season, for the slower season, and these big upticks with people coming into town, they're not necessarily going to be able to pull on more staff.
Right, like same thing last night. I went to Strangers and Saints for a drink before dinner.
Oh, cute.
Just Tim Dudley hosting and JC the bartender, completely full. And I'm like,
It's insane.
you know, the poor guys.
I hate, like, I just have PTSD from shifts like that.
Yeah. Like, I was like, I'll have it. And he goes, I'll be right there. And I was like, oh, I know that feeling. Like, don't even say the words because I won't remember them.
Right. And I don't want you to think that I know your drink and that I will be making it, because I will not.
Right, yeah. So it's very busy here.
Yeah. But, like, come have some fun, chill. You'll get your drink eventually.
Do you have a rundown of what's going down this weekend?
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on.
Literally.
The club has Leah and Kaya Cristal for New Year's Eve. That's going to be a killer show. I almost said Leah Michelle. Not Leah Michelle.
Leah Delaria.
Leah Delaria. Tonight at the Underground is Funktopus. And then they have Lizzie Pitch tomorrow for New Year's Eve.
And Kevin Fessler on bar.
Stop.
Both nights.
I love that.
Kevin is a bartender at the Underground now.
Wow. I love that.
Kevin loves when we mention him on the show, too.
Yeah.
Good morning, Kevin.
DJ Emerson has a New Year's Eve party at the Grotto Bar. Hillary is at Tin Pan Alley singing tonight and tomorrow. Was that last weekend or no, 2 weeks ago?
When?
On the show.
That Hillary was here?
Yeah.
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Dina has her second show tonight. You saw her tomorrow.
Oh my God.
How was it?
I saw her tomorrow. I'm seeing Dina in the future. No, I went to Dina last night. Hilarious. I've never seen a Dina Christmas show. It was really, really funny. If you don't have tickets already, it's nearly sold out. It's at 7:30 tonight at the Crown and Anchor. You will laugh your ass off. You will pee your pants.
I ran into you last night after the show, and I was like, how was the show? And you just like said something to me that I can't even remember. And I was like, what is that? And you're like, it's burned in my brain.
Jaundiced preemies. There was like a whole 4-minute bit about jaundiced preemies. Yeah, it'll make sense when you go see the show.
Great. Also tomorrow night, Thirsty has a show, and then it turns right into the Turn Back Time Disco. If you go to that, definitely bring your best disco look. They have a prize. It's cash money for the best disco look.
Thirsty's show is also at 7:30, and she has a couple of special guest stars performing with her. Jonna Williams as Celine Dion.
Slay.
In an homage performance. Hopefully she's not doing the stiff person syndrome thing.
I don't think that they're going to do that.
And also,
or maybe.
Dana Denzel is doing Cyndi Lauper. So that's going to be a really fun show.
I'm thinking as Celine Dion, but sing Barbie Girl as Celine Dion, but
oh my God.
No, that's fucked up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, take it back.
I take it back.
Great.
How was your week?
My week
Christmas seems like it was a billion years ago, but it was just last weekend.
I know. So like we were saying, we were sitting here last Friday talking to Murray, and as the show ended, Peter called me and was like, you need to get over to Howland and Commercial right now. Our friend's house is flooding. And I went outside, and right here, nothing.
Right.
There was no
it was
wind.
Blue skies.
I was like, how can it be so bad half a mile away? And then we went over there and you couldn't even drive onto the intersection that he was talking about. So it was just, I've never seen anything like it. I talked to some people that grew up here and they were like, the storm of 78. That's the last time it flooded like this. And I'm like, damn.
Right. It's also, Provincetown is so weird in the fact that like when it does flood, it's not like, oh, that's the spot that floods.
Right.
Like there was a big flood in 2018 that was like in a completely different area. It was on Gosnold Street behind Town Hall, and it felt like the exact same thing, but just in like a different location. I'm sure it has to do with like tides and wind direction
of the wind. Yeah, like it was a super, super high tide. The breakwater was completely submerged. It was insane. We're going to show you a little video of that later on. But then, of course, we had Christmas weekend.
Yeah.
Christmas Eve, we had some friends over to the house. My friend Mike comes from Boston now. Ever since the pandemic, Mike is spending his Christmases here. He used to go to Texas to see his dad, and he was like, it's just so much more fun to like, sorry, Dad, to like be at your friend's house having Christmas for 3 days than like all the travel.
Yeah.
You know, so that's nice.
And traveling was not fun last weekend. I've got a little story on that later.
Ooh, what happened?
Oh, it was wild. I got a story.
Really?
Yeah, let's continue our other weeks.
Oh,
though.
okay.
I had a really fun New Year's Eve. I spent it with some friends here in town.
Christmas Eve.
Christmas Eve.
With the future.
What is wrong with me today?
You're just living for the future, Harry.
Yeah, right. But Tim, Brian, Lucas, Sean, and Benji and I all got together and just had like a cute little dinner. It was delish. And low-key, fun, games, the whole bit. Yeah. What'd you do on Christmas Day?
Christmas Day, Sean Burke hosted some people at the Red Inn.
I heard that was a blast.
It was a blast, and you're going to love this. I shouldn't even tell you because of how much I know you're going to love it.
Why wouldn't you
Never
do
mind.
something that I love?
Never mind. No, so Sean's mom was there, of course.
Oh, I love Sean's mom.
And she was having a Cosmo, and she was like, it's too bad Harrison's not here because he makes the best one. She said, nothing against you, but you already know how I feel about that. And I was like, is this how you were raised? With her saying stuff like this?
I mean, I love when people say that I make the best drink or tell people that I make the best drink, but I feel like it's proper form to not tell a bartender that
Yeah,
in general.
it's fine. She's said it to me before.
And also people it goes both ways. There's people who prefer drinks that you make.
Yeah, but you want the owner's mother to like your drink.
Totally.
And she likes your drink. What are you doing? What are you putting in it that I'm not putting in
Magic, love.
it? Not that.
Maybe it has a bitter edge.
Right, bitterness, yeah. Every drink I make comes with a dash of bitter. Not bitters, bitter.
Bitter. A
Yeah.
dash of bitter. No, so it was a really good time on Christmas. We had like, way too much fun by the end of it.
Yeah.
It got a little wild, a little out of hand.
As we do.
You went home on Christmas?
Yeah, I went to my brother's house for Christmas. He smoked some prime rib, which was amazing. Yeah. His girlfriend Carla did such an incredible job putting a really nice spread together. And every time I'd be like, you did such a great job. She's like, yeah, me and Alan did it together. I'm like, I grew up with him. I've known him for 36 years. I know that that is not true.
Why do you think he didn't help?
Well, I mean, he made the prime rib, but like, just like little touches that I noticed where I'm like, I know that's not Alan's thing, you know?
Yeah.
But it was a cute little gathering, had the whole family. Benji came with me. I feel like I'm going to spend the next 6 months trying to convince my mother that Benji is not my boyfriend.
She thinks that
Well,
already?
he kept like being like, oh, babe, blah, 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 blah. But like, that's just a way in which we all talk that I don't think straight people understand.
They don't call each other babe all the time?
I don't think so. No.
They say bae.
Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but they say bae when they're dating, which is just adds to the confusion. But it was really cute. I do think my favorite gift that I got from my family, it's like a thing in my family. We all love deviled eggs.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, I feel like deviled eggs is one of those foods that everyone like kind of secretly loves and they think is like their thing, but it's like everyone's thing. But me and my cousins, like we always get really excited about the deviled eggs, and she found deviled egg Christmas ornaments.
Really?
Yeah, so she got a deviled egg Christmas ornament for all the cousins.
Oh, that's cute.
It's really cute.
I thought you were going to say she gave you like a tray specifically designed to serve deviled eggs on it.
Oh, I saw one of those at the thrift store last week.
Oh, you should have got me that.
I know.
Where's my Christmas present?
Oh my god, I forgot it again! Ah, you'll get it for next Christmas.
A year?
No, I'll give it to you next week, or next time I see you.
It's a puppy. It's just a year older.
It's just rotting in a
It's
box.
It's getting dark in here. So wait, what was your travel drama?
Oh, that's like a news story.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you meant for you specifically.
No. I travel just fine.
Oh, okay.
One thing I'm always nervous about traveling on the holidays is this has happened to me twice in the past. Once on Christmas this year and once last year. Last year I was coming home from my parents' house and had absolutely no gas, and I was like, whatever. But places are closed on Christmas.
Ooh.
Why don't gas stations keep the pumps on even though the gas station is closed?
I thought they did.
No. Like, why can't you just use a credit card and do the pump even if the thing is closed?
You can't?
I don't think so.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I guess I don't try to get gas.
Well,
when
that's like
it's
the thing.
like-
Cumberland Farms closed, and they close all their pumps as well. Like, why don't they just keep the pumps on 24/7 for credit card purchases?
I don't know the answer to that. I was under the impression that you could get gas after
No.
it closed. But I mean, we get gas so infrequently here.
I know.
Like, how often do you fill up your car?
I think I filled up my car in May of this past year and didn't have to fill it up again until October.
Does gas stay good?
It stays good. It can get like water or things like that in the tank if you're not like using it as much, but if you can do like gas treatments and stuff.
Gas treatments.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Cars. What else did you get up to this week?
What? I can't even remember. Oh, you know what? Well, because Finizzi's was closed, I went to Ciro and Sal's 2 days in a row for dinner.
Ooh. I haven't been this year. How is it?
It's great. I
Yeah.
love it. But you know, last night we were there again, and they were like, "Weren't you?" I was like, "Yes, yes, yeah. I'm a regular now." I don't know
You're
that
like, I'll have the usual. They're like, what?
I don't know that I've ever been to the same restaurant 2 days in a row before.
I feel like I, with how much I go to Cafe Heaven, I'm sure I've
Yeah.
been to Cafe Heaven 2 days in a row.
No, but it was fantastic. Have the Fra Diavolo.
Ooh.
I like a place that has a spicy dish that does not shy away. They're like, it really is hot though.
Especially in this town.
Yeah,
It's a rarity.
I know. That's
Like,
what I mean.
There's a few things on our menu at the Red Inn that like warn people that they're spicy, and people are like, I'm not going to get that because it's spicy. I'm like, it's not.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No,
Yeah.
give me the heat.
Yeah. Monday, I went over Sean and Lucas's, and Sean made his bolognese. Oh, you stopped by while I was
That
there.
was Monday? I thought you said
Yes.
you spent Christmas Eve with them.
Yes, both.
Oh.
Yeah. And
Bolognese.
Kelly and Julian also came. It was so good. I love a good bolognese. Bob stopped by while I was there to pick up a cinnamon roll. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's making his way through Kelly's cookbook.
Yeah, I every day I'm like, I'm gonna do that. And then I'm like, or I could not.
Make the cinnamon rolls.
Yeah.
Oh my
That seems
God.
hard though. Is that a hard thing?
It looked time consuming, but the result was fantastic. Delicious.
All from Kelly's cookbook.
Kelly Fields, The Good Book of Southern Baking. Speaking of Kelly Fields, Kelly is doing the food for the Crown and Anchor's drag brunches this weekend.
Yeah.
So tomorrow morning and Sunday morning, or afternoon, brunch
Yeah.
time, whatever.
I have a few.
The menu is up right here.
Yeah.
On Sunday, I will be helping to make these things.
Oh, really?
I'm,
You're
I'm
working?
I'm working in the kitchen with Kelly on Sunday.
I have a reservation on Sunday. I look forward to my modifications. I'm just
Don't
kidding.
fucking dare.
I'm just gonna have the memo and like, please have Bob make.
I don't know what I'm doing. I've never worked in the back of the house, as you know.
Well, you had your Thai pop-up a couple weeks ago.
Right, but that would, I mean, helping someone else execute what they have invented is
Especially of the caliber.
right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to culinary school for a day. And somebody was like, what if you get yelled at? What if you do something wrong? And I was like, why are you thinking that
Kelly
way?
doesn't seem like a yeller.
I feel like every chef is secretly a yeller.
That's true.
Have you watched The Bear on Hulu?
Most of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I loved it.
It is the most realistic depiction of restaurant work of any TV show that I've ever seen.
Actually, the last episode I watched, which may be why it was the last episode I watched, was the episode where they started, and this is like a real thing that's happened to restaurants in the past, where like they started to do a like a Grubhub or one of those types of services,
Yeah.
and the second they open, their ticket printer just starts like printing, and it just like
God.
doesn't stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a work nightmare that you have.
Yeah. I read a story a couple months ago. Grubhub was doing this deal where you like got $10 off or a certain orders, and this one restaurant that like all their price point is under $10.
Oh no.
They just got like 3,000 orders in like the first 20 minutes they were open because everyone's like, oh, it's a free lunch because I'm getting $10 off.
They didn't have to honor that, did they?
They couldn't.
Right.
How would you?
3,000 orders.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And I've not that I've been in situations like that, but I've been in situations where the stress is comparable.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the last episode I watched because I was like, I can't.
Well, I tried to turn Quinn onto it, and he was like, in the first episode, the guy's like, you know, struggling
Yeah.
with restaurant life.
Yeah, and you're like, too real.
Yeah, he was like, back when he worked in TV, he was like, he couldn't watch 30 Rock. He was like, shows about TV
Yeah.
bothered him, and now shows about restaurants bother him.
I get that. Yeah. Another fun thing I did this week, I went to the Squealing Pig on Wednesday night. If you ever come into
Like trivia?
No. I don't think they were having trivia.
No, because they were gone.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. But Squealing Pig is one of my favorite spots over the winter. But I met up with, do you remember Britta who worked here this winter?
Yeah.
Summer? Britta works at the brewery every summer, and then she is a school she works in schools in Florida, which I know is a challenging place to be right now, especially as a queer person.
Oh, yeah.
It was the first time I'd seen her since she got married to her wife Heather, so I got to see all the pictures. It was so much fun. Also, her little sister Callie came. It was super cute.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm trying to convince her to move back up here full time because people need to escape Florida.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
We need good teachers up here, too.
And she was like, but I vote Democrat and we need those votes in Florida. And I just feel like Florida's just a red state now.
No.
Yeah.
What is that?
Oh, probably the gas.
Oh, okay.
Julian said that it's a state law that the pumps can't be open while they're closed. It's a safety issue.
Massachusetts. So wait, has it been officially announced that the underground has changed hands?
Yes.
It hasn't?
Well, now it has.
Well, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Just kidding. Allegedly.
What about that other place? We're
Not signed, not totally finalized.
Okay.
We need to get our hands on. We need to start checking public records so that we can actually
Talk with knowledge.
Cut away from me.
talk with knowledge. That's not what the show is about, right?
Talk with knowledge.
Speaking of knowledge, there was an announcement that the fireworks happening this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
The time has changed. It was initially going to be scheduled at 5:30 on Saturday for the New Year's fireworks, but they're changing it to dusk, which is like 4:45.
4:45 is when they're telling people to be where they want to watch fireworks from, and they will shoot it within the window of time allotted because there is weather conditions.
Yes, weather conditions, fog, rain, so they have to shoot them off when we're going to be able to see them, and it's going to be amazing. Viewers are encouraged. Stop it. Viewers are encouraged to arrive earlier and by 4:45.
And it's going to be amazing.
It's going to be spectacular.
I love fireworks.
I do too. Just be wherever you want to be by 4:45. They
Yeah.
do recommend being somewhere on the beach, close to the pier.
I think I'm going to try and watch from the Crown and Anchor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing.
It's gonna be amazing. Okay. Let's talk about, so if you had to
I'm listening.
if you had to travel this past weekend, you probably didn't have a very fun time.
Yeah.
Because of the same storm and weather patterns that were happening that affected us here in Provincetown, it heavily affected flights. I think the number was 12,500 flights in North America were canceled last weekend.
Oh my God.
Yes, and 1 out of every 4 of those flights was a Southwest flight.
Oh no.
Southwest is in a lot of trouble. The Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, spoke about them, and he said he's going to, like, it's coming for them. Yeah. The issue is like, so the reason Southwest was more heavily affected than other airlines is because the type of routes they run. Where, like, you look at something like JetBlue, like if you fly a JetBlue flight to somewhere, like there's most times you're gonna have to stop through Atlanta, and that's because they run on, I think it was called a hub and spoke like format, and so Atlanta is their hub, and basically most flights go from Atlanta to another place, which is why if you're flying like Boston to Miami, you do Boston to Atlanta and then Atlanta to Miami, and those flights basically go Boston to Atlanta, back to Boston to Atlanta, back to Boston. So that's the way they do it. Southwest runs a different strategy where they basically, like, one flight crew will get on a plane and they will go Boston to Atlanta to Chicago to New York to Boston to Atlanta, like a larger route system. And because of that, Where like if your JetBlue flight gets canceled from Boston to Atlanta, they just have to wait till weather conditions are good again, and then they can start running that plane again from Boston to Atlanta. But like say you're on a Southwest flight and that plane gets grounded in Chicago, that flight from Chicago to New York gets canceled, from New York to Boston gets canceled, Boston to Atlanta gets canceled, Atlanta to Chicago gets canceled, and also they can't just start back up again when weather conditions get good, because that plane was supposed to now be in Atlanta, but it's still in Chicago.
It's a domino effect.
Yeah, and I know people are like, well, why do they do that? That's stupid. But like, if you're someone who hates layovers like me, I fly Southwest often because you typically can get flights that aren't layovers.
Direct flights.
Yeah, but the reason they're in trouble is because
Everyone's mad at them.
everyone's mad at them, obviously, but because they're one of the biggest reasons why they had such an issue, on top of their format being different, is the fact that like basically every person from like flight attendants to like the higher ups, when they were like, why did this happen? They're like, oh, we use a computer system from the 90s. So when everything got back up, they had no idea where their planes were. They had no idea where their crews were. And they just were like, so they couldn't even get back up and running. Like where other airlines were able to, okay, the weather's good, let's get back going. They were just like,
Oh, God.
They just had no idea where anything was. And I read a tweet by Bernie Sanders, which he makes a good point. He says that Southwest got $7 billion a bailout during the pandemic, and then within that year, they spent $5.6 billion on stock buybacks to enrich their shareholders. Meanwhile, using a 30-year-old computer system to track flights.
Y2K.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So, yeah.
So Pete Buttigieg is gonna go in there with a wrench.
Well, he had already spoken out a lot about the problems within the airline industry, and it's one of those things where like it's not a monopoly. You know what I mean? There's not a monopoly. There's not one giant airplane company that controls everything, but because of the way everything is, there's like 10 airlines that really get used a lot, and as passengers and customers, we're kind of like, what control do we have?
None.
Right. It's just like, it's like when you go and they're like, oh, we canceled your flight. And you're like, okay. And they're like, we can give you your money back. You're like, but I have to go there.
Right.
I need to go there. That's why I'm here. But because of all this, like a lot of people's bags were already checked and end up on planes. And you've seen all these images of like certain airports where there's just like an entire warehouse full of luggage.
Oh man.
Yeah, and also people were like, you can start rebooking your flights on January 2nd. So imagine like trying to come home for Christmas or going away for Christmas. And it was funny, last night while I was working trivia, I was like, did anyone fly last weekend? And everyone was like, no. And I'm like, oh right, you wouldn't be here if you did.
Jesus.
Yeah, so sorry to anyone who had to fly this past weekend.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Stay home.
Yeah.
Travel locally.
Yeah.
Explore another Cape Town.
Yeah. Encourage your local politicians to push for rail transit.
Yeah.
I did just read that, I can't remember what country it was, but there's a country in Europe that outlawed all flights less than 4 hours that are reachable by train.
I saw that too.
Yeah.
No? Off the top of your
Yeah,
head?
and especially considering like air travel is like one of the most like polluting industries in the world. Huh? I think it was France, now that you mention it. Yeah.
You know who's happy about that?
Who?
Greta Thunberg.
Right. That is the best segue into my next story.
I know. You're welcome.
Yeah, so yesterday was a wild day for Greta Thunberg. No, she ended up winning in the end, but like this is how it all went. I don't know if anyone knows who Andrew Tate is. I had heard about him a few months ago. He was blowing up on TikTok, and he is a British American kickboxer, and then he became an internet personality, and his whole brand is basically an outrageous extreme form of misogyny.
Yeah.
Like, it's insane. Like, He says that women belong in the home, shouldn't drive, and are a man's property. He thinks this is what got him kicked off Twitter. He tweeted that he thinks rape victims must bear responsibility for their attacks.
Oof.
He says that he only dates women who are 18 or 19 years old because he can make an imprint on them. Right. And the reason I had heard about him a few months ago is a lot of teachers were kind of sounding the alarm that because of TikTok and TikTok's algorithm, this person was being boosted to like young men, like 13, 14, 15-year-old men, and they were in their classrooms and they just like all of a sudden they felt this wave of misogyny coming from these like young men, and it was just, they were just utterly stunned by it. He had been kicked off almost all platforms except for TikTok, which is like, you go back to like, a few weeks ago, a Democratic politician said, like, maybe the only thing that Trump was right about is the fact that we shouldn't have TikTok.
Donald Trump said that?
Yeah, because it's owned by a Chinese company, and they're like there's even been reports of the way algorithms work differently in China to America. Basically, the American algorithm is like pushing TikTok dances and stupid shit and like these outrageous misogynists, and meanwhile in China the algorithm is pushing like educational things to their kids, which is like you don't really, you're like, oh, how could TikTok literally change the culture of a country? But it can, and it has. You know what I mean? But yesterday, because he is his videos on TikTok have been viewed 11.6 billion times.
What?
Yeah. And he, like I said, he was banned from Twitter, but with Elon Musk taking over, he reinstated a lot of accounts, one of which was Andrew Tate. And he decided to tweet yesterday morning. He said, "Hello, Greta. I have 33 cars. My Bugatti has it's car stuff. I don't even know how to read it. My Bugatti has a W16 8-liter quad turbo. My 2 Ferrari 812 competition have a 6.5-liter V12s. Am I doing it wrong?
No, that sounded...
Okay. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions." Which, like, what? Like, just insane. But he tweeted that at Greta Thunberg. Greta Thunberg responds and she said, "Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com." Yeah, so this...
I want to be her friend.
I know, right? So this enraged him. He went into a tweet storm, responding. Greta obviously took the high road, and she's like, "I said what I need to say," and kind of didn't respond. All of his responses culminated with a video of him. In the video of him speaking, he was like just talking shit about Greta. And then while he's talking about Greta, he asks someone off screen to hand him a pizza box, which he then is like, "And I'm not gonna recycle it," in another sick burn. But what really makes the story crazy is that because of that pizza box, so the pizza box was from a place called George's Pizza, which is a pizza chain in Romania. And the Romanian government needed to know that he was there so they could arrest him on rape and
Human trafficking
charges. So because of this video, they were able to arrest him.
It just didn't get any better.
Yeah. So the reason they're being arrested is him and his brother both got arrested along with 2 other men. And basically, they would meet British women, entice them with the idea that they would begin a relationship with them, and then once they did, they would, under threat of violence, make them produce pornographic images and videos that they would then upload to their website, which was like a paid pornography website. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 2 of them call this the lover boy method.
Oh, God.
Yeah, so he is currently detained in Romania.
And then, what did she say next?
Oh, she said, "This is what you get when you don't recycle a pizza box."
That's the best ending to that story.
Totally.
How do people become so despicable?
I don't know. And it's also, I don't even know how to really describe what I want to say, but like listing your cars to an environmental activist is just like what are you trying to do? And it's also like, and like being so like, "I'm not going to recycle this pizza box." Like, you're just being an asshole to be an asshole. Mm-hmm.
I mean, people are like that sometimes.
They really are. Yeah, especially
Really rapist.
yeah, specifically misogynist men. Like they're just like, I'm gonna be, and I don't even want to call it contrarian because it seems like to diminish what it actually is. It's like just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
Yeah, some people relish in that sort of behavior.
It's wild.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that many of them, but you know,
I'm just kidding.
you catch a lot of it. This is why, listen, you know what I did do well in 2022? One thing I did very well was I greatly reduced the amount of time I spent watching cable news and being on Twitter. Like, every time I open Twitter, I find myself just getting really angry. So I'm like, I'm just not going to look at it anymore. Sure, that is where I find most of my porn.
Yeah, I was gonna say my Twitter is mostly porn, so the emotion I feel isn't often anger when I open Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, it's just this wild vacillation between being really angry at all the political shit and then being like, oh, well, that's pretty. But, you know, just
Pretty. Also not the emotion I feel when I open Twitter.
just, you know, I encourage everybody to spend less time watching the things that infuriate you. Like, aren't you tired of being angry all the time? I just can't be angry all the time anymore.
One of the things I've decided, and this was kind of hard just because it is a useful tool in doing this show and like promoting things, but one of the things I have fully decided to leave behind in 2022 is Facebook.
You're gonna just completely leave it
Yeah,
behind?
it's a horror show. And I'm sorry to everyone watching this on Facebook. I think Wake Up will continue on Facebook, but I won't be on Facebook.
I mean, are you specifically referring to like some of the stuff that was happening on the community spaces in regards to the GoFundMes that were created for the restaurants and businesses?
Yes
that were
and no. I'm a person who's like, as I'm thinking about what I want to put out into the universe through social medias in general, it's like I try to think like, does this have a purpose? Does this, like, even the purpose can be to be funny or something like that, but I feel like a lot of people are just like use Facebook and social media as like a way of conversing with the people, just like they feel like they behave like they're having a conversation with one person, but that one person is all of their Facebook followers. You know what I mean? And it just is like, it's like you could spend an hour on Facebook and like you get nothing.
No value.
Yeah. And I'll spend 10 minutes on Facebook, and like you said, you get angry on Twitter. That's how I get, and it's mostly just because I'm annoyed with it all, and I don't need that in my life anymore.
But I mean, while we're on the topic, there is a GoFundMe has been set up to support the staff at Fenizi's, which is obviously closed for a while, and there's a separate one for the East End Market, which also had some flooding. And together, I mean, between the two of them, the community has raised over $100,000 for these two businesses, which is remarkable. That's incredible. Like, I mean, you have to.
Are the GoFundMes for the businesses or the workers of the businesses? I know the
workers of the
okay.
businesses. But if you have the time or inclination or, you know, a couple of extra dollars to throw to, you just go to GoFundMe, look up East End Market, Provincetown, or Fenizi's, and you know, help somebody out who desperately needs it right now. A lot of people are out of work. And in addition to those two businesses that are closed right now, a lot of people's homes were destroyed.
Yeah.
Lots and lots of storm damage.
Yeah, so basically the epicenter of it all was Howland Street over in the East End. It was kind of by like the Ice House. Like water during high tide and high winds came over, went down Howland Street, flooded the intersection of Howland and Bradford, which is where East End Market is. That's kind of like the most destruction that happened of homes and businesses that weren't on the water.
Right.
The waterfront got battered.
Lots of people lost their decks to the sea.
Yeah. My friend is house sitting on the water, and the deck didn't make it, and it was like. And I was like, wow, there's so much stuff on the rest of the deck, and it's like mostly like staircases from other places. He had
propane tanks just disappearing.
Yeah, that was the scariest thing that happened to my friend. He had the two propane tanks that were on the side of his home. The ground washed away beneath them, which made them detach from the building. And he didn't know what to do. He was alone in the home. Luckily, two of his friends were across the street. They had just wrapped up a yoga class and ran over to check on him. So luckily, between the three of them, they were able to figure out how to contain the propane tanks. There was a small electrical fire due to the water basically getting into the walls of the structure because the what are they called? The shingles? Shingles. had been removed by the water, and luckily the three of them were able to maintain that all.
He said there was smoke coming out of the outlets.
Yeah.
I think I would run screaming from the house if I saw smoke coming out of the outlets.
Not great in an emergency.
Not great in an emergency. No, I get the F out of there.
Yeah. Luckily, no like significant damage, like other people who had like multiple feet of water in their home. Nothing like that in my friend's place, but.
And I mean, say what you want about Facebook, but a lot of people are unfortunately homeless for a little while due to this, and places like the Crown and Anchor have opened their hotel doors to people, and so that is one good thing about it. Like people, that's how I know who's out of an apartment is because of Facebook.
That's true.
And so we can help each other with these things. We don't have to use them to tear people down.
Yeah.
They serve a purpose sometimes.
Oh, totally. But it's just like it's such a small fraction.
I know.
That for me, it's not worth it.
Yeah. What else are you giving up? What else are you turning your back on?
I don't know. What about you?
I don't know either. I haven't really thought about.
I have another day to think about it.
Yeah. I mean, we usually talk about resolutions every year,
Yeah.
but I haven't really given it much thought
No.
this year.
I mean, this is something I'll continue to do, and it's definitely something that I've put a lot of energy into this past year, but and like the past year was like kind of like the hard work of like really committing to it, but especially in a town like Provincetown where so many people are doing their thing, I used to have a really hard time where like other people's successes don't contribute to my success or failure. You know what I mean? I used to like begrudge people for having success because I felt like it took away from my success, and I really had to like examine why I felt that way and kind of let it go and like allow myself to be happy for other people's success because that doesn't diminish my success.
Correct.
Yeah.
Aw.
I'm learning, I'm growing.
Yay.
Well, especially in Provincetown where it's like everyone you talk to, and this was like a couple weeks ago when I was here for the that Pee Wee Herman viewing here at the brewery. I had a friend visiting town, and he was like, "Wow, you know everyone." I'm like, "Oh, I literally do know everyone there." But this is also kind of my home bar, my home space. But I was like, "Oh, that person works in a restaurant and is a scientist. That person works in a restaurant and is a really cool painter. That person does this and this." And he's like, "Wow, every person in this room is really cool." I'm like, "That's just P-Town."
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So gonna continue working on that.
More of that in 2023.
Yeah. I think I have one more story.
Yeah.
It's a quick one. Vivienne Westwood passed away yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She's the iconic British fashion designer. I have a picture. This is what I most know her for. One of my favorite films of all time is the first Sex and the City movie. Mm-hmm. And if one of the best montages ever, where Carrie does the Vogue photo shoot with all the wedding dresses, and then she gets gifted that wedding dress. That was a Vivienne Westwood wedding dress. So that's what I know her mostly for. And there's pictures. The picture I have is actually an upcoming picture from And Just Like That, which she wore the wedding dress obviously for her wedding that didn't end up happening. Mm-hmm. But there's been images released of her kind of repurposing the wedding dress. I don't know why she wears it in this, in Just Like That. But she has a bird on her head, again, of course. But can you imagine what you would wear, the dress that you were supposed to wear for the wedding that you got stood up?
Yep.
Like, why would you wear that wedding dress again? We're about to find out.
When does that come back?
I don't know. Soon. It must. Yeah. You got anything else?
Oh, what Julian did tell me the other day that thanks to Governor Baker's administration, there is going to be somewhere on the Cape or near the Cape. Remember we were talking about like you can't get an abortion anywhere near like within 3 hours of Provincetown. Right. So they have made steps to improve reproductive care for women in our area.
That's great.
Yeah. So, just Massachusetts doing what we do best, making people's lives better.
The Cape is difficult for healthcare in general.
Oh, totally.
But it's really great that we're moving steps to make women's healthcare and reproductive healthcare more accessible.
Yeah. Fuck Florida. Teach here.
Exactly.
Move here.
Britta did just text me. She said, "I'll try to move back as soon as possible." We hope that happens. Okay. We do have a little video that me and Bob took as we were trying to help our friends in the East End, but it was very difficult because you couldn't drive anywhere. We did take a few video, so check this out.
over the house.
It was scary.
One of the wildest parts about it, though. You can see when the waves are crashing against that house in the East End, it sprays completely up and over it and onto the street. It was really wild.
Please welcome Nicole. She is the chef putting together the incredible menu at the Crown and Anchor for tomorrow night, New Year's Eve. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for making a little time. I know you're busy this weekend.
A little bit.
How's the prep going?
It's going really great. It's definitely like community based, and
Love
I have
that.
a lot of beautiful helpers, and it's all coming together intuitively and organically, and just how it's supposed to.
Perfect.
Now, whose brainchild was this?
It was mine. I was walking with a couple of the chefs at Bellina, and they had asked me to take on the New Year's Eve dinner, and I got really excited because I have a passion for rounding up our local farms and the winter harvest, and then also exploring this time of year. Like you were talking about resolutions, I'm excited to plant some seeds throughout the dinner to get people to think about what truly nourishes them, and that nutrition isn't just like what's on our plate, but it has come together really nicely with like the farms and the farmers. And my friend Katie that does improv, she was like, why don't you do 23 farms for 2023?
You're like, great.
And so she planted that seed, and I had to commit to it. And so I have. And so I've taken portraits of all of the 23 people that are going to be a part of our meal.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and they're all hanging up at the Crown. So if you're going to ramen tonight or brunch, you will see them.
I love that.
There's ramen tonight at the Crown.
Yeah.
Ramen tonight at the Crown as well.
Sold out.
Just kidding, sold out. Don't go.
Can't go unless you already have a ticket. So 23 farms, far and wide. Like, where are we talking about?
Mostly on Cape, a couple like right off Cape.
Awesome.
Yep.
So you're a chef, but your background is mostly as a dietitian.
Yes, mostly as a registered dietitian. I've had a nutrition therapy practice here on the Cape for 20 years now, and I've moved my way slowly down to Provincetown over the years.
Love that.
So I'm really excited to be working on this project. So I'm a local food enthusiast, and I've been catering and making meals like this that are locally sourced for a long time, but one of my other passions is nutrition therapy.
Like a lot of time, my younger sister is a dietitian as well, and I feel like being a chef and a dietitian often doesn't go together, because like chefs are like butter and duck fat and those kind of things, and a dietitian might steer you away from those things. So how do you kind of put the two
Sometimes,
together?
Yeah, I feel like my position is to have everyone own their own nutrition practice and really like go inward and explore, what truly nourishes them in the sense of foods too. So we're all different. We all have a different gut microbiome. And to make those connections, you can learn how to take better care of yourself with enjoying the foods that you love. So one of like the intuitive eating concepts that I practice a lot is not thinking of food as good or bad, and like kind of rebuilding those relationships with food. Kind of like you were mentioning earlier, that you became aware of a behavior that like you had these automatic thoughts and you shifted them.
Totally.
We can do that with food as well.
Yeah.
So like butter isn't like so bad, and foods aren't like so bad that we can't
You
have
can go back to
them.
drinking duck fat.
Yay. Well, it's the idea that like you said, no foods are bad. It's that like all you can partake in all food. It's having a healthy relation. Like you can have ice cream, but maybe 2 pints of Ben & Jerry's a night is not
That is
a good idea.
absurd.
It is. Is it? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, there's different experiences, right? So you could have like that experience with the ice cream that you're enjoying every bite of it, and you're like eating from kind of your healthy side or a position of strength, or you're having that 2 pints of ice cream from like your programming, very emotional, like believing old messages. So those are like 2 different experiences that you can have with ice cream.
Okay.
Don't do sad ice cream eating. Only happy ice cream eating.
I would never be able to eat ice cream then.
So it's a 5-course dinner, right?
It's a 5-course dinner, and there's 3 alcohol pairings as well.
Oh, awesome. Are the alcohols local as well?
They are, yes.
Did you make the drinks up too?
Yes, yep.
Wow.
With friends.
I love that. So your hands are in every aspect of everything people will be consuming that night?
Yeah, and we're thinking about like the table, so we've put like raw cedar boards on the tables. We're using like a lot of cedar for it, and yeah, every part of the dinner is going to be intentional.
I love that.
Do you want to give us a little spoiler? Like, what are we going to see on the plates?
Sure. I brought like all my notes. So I've been using my typewriter to curate all of this, and so there's a lot. But the first course is a local maker board of something that I've been incorporating into a lot of my catering, like over the years of just pulling together. Sadie Hill is an amazing cheesemaker on Cape Cod. She has a cheesemaking school that you can go to classes.
Oh, really?
And so she's making all of the cheese. And so that's why it's like a local maker board. And then Stone Ledge Gardens is another, literally drives around to every farm and gets local ingredients and makes these amazing jams. And so those will be featured on the local maker boards with a liver pate, which is an interesting story because I don't like liver, but that's one of those food relationships that I'm trying to rebuild, so I'm challenging myself to work with it over and over and over again.
Is it chicken liver?
It's actually beef liver from Seawind Meadows that's on the Cape.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm not big into
I feel the same way about liver. So
I'm
So
not big
we'll
into
just
liver, but give me a
try it.
pate, I'm into it.
Yeah.
I love pate.
Good.
Yeah.
That gives me, that's exciting
Yeah.
for me. So that's like the local maker board. We're doing a course with tubers and tuna, which is, the tuna was a community project that I did with Elizabeth Hay, and we canned 450 pounds of tuna in really nice spices and a really nice olive oil, and that will be on a platter with a lot of different vegetables that are in season right now of what we can get from our farms.
What vegetables are in season right now? Because you think it's frigid out. What could possibly be in season?
We have a lot of storage crops. Yep. So all like squashes and stuff are storage crops, but we also have all of the root vegetables. So like carrots are going to be good all winter. And when we have carrots in the winter, they actually taste better because all of the if we leave them in the ground and the sugars kind of pull into the carrot and we get a sweeter carrot,
way.
which is fun.
Interesting.
And so carrots, radishes, watermelon radishes, daikon radishes. There's we have hydroponic like bib lettuces from Capabilities Farm, which is they're beautiful. I don't want to take them apart, but we'll see what happens.
right.
Yeah.
what
You're like,
time
can I
does
just serve
dinner
it like
start?
this?
The dinner starts at 7.
Okay, just one seating.
Just one seating.
Cute.
Yep, 7 to 9:30.
Is it sold out yet?
It is. I don't believe it's sold out, but it's getting close.
It's gonna.
Yeah, it will.
If you want to go, I would get on there right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Is it only at thecrown.com that you can get a reservation?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Excellent. Have so much fun.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And then you get done early enough that you can go out.
Yes.
What are you gonna do?
I don't know. I
She's
think
like,
I
eat,
just wanna
everything
sit
left over, right?
down in the dining
I'm
room.
sure.
But we'll see.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll find something fun.
Yeah.
I'm super excited. So tomorrow night, Nourish at the Crown and Anchor. Scoop up a ticket now. They're gonna go fast.
23 farms for 2023.
That's so cool. I love that idea of like intentional eating things that are close to you. That's really
Yeah,
incredible.
and seeing what comes up.
Huh? Oh no way!
Yes,
Killer.
sorry. Yeah, there's a lot of pieces to this dinner.
Awesome.
Johnny's
going to be performing as well.
Yes, Johnny Pizzone.
Yeah. If you've been watching our show for a while, you've definitely seen Johnny playing his slide guitar. Or if you saw Jouot's show this past summer, Johnny was the slide guitarist there. That is Nicole's boyfriend.
Yes.
So cute. Bob just found out. He's like, "Why is Johnny here?" And I'm like, "That's Nicole's boyfriend."
I was like, oh.
thank you so much for coming in.
Thank
All
you.
of the luck for tomorrow.
Thank you.
The Crown has some killer culinary offerings this weekend. There's tons of stuff going on. Come to Provincetown, get in on the fun. We'll see you all running around this weekend.
Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us through 2022, and we're going to have a lot of fun next year, too. And thanks to all of our sponsors, the Provincetown Brewing Company, the Crown and Anchor, Cafe Heaven, the Red Inn, the Adam Howard Metal Workshop at 3 Bradford Street, and ProjectValorSailing.org.
Yeah. One more thing we forgot to mention. Today and tomorrow at East End Market, they're doing 20% off food, or cheese, wine, all your liquors, all your New Year's festivity things. So stop by and scoop some of the stuff up. Support a business that is having a
12 to 5
moment.
today and tomorrow.
Yeah. Also, one more thing. The holiday market is their last weekend, so if you didn't get a chance to check that out, stop by the canteen and check everything out.
Polar bear punch.
One more thing. The Polar Bear Plunge is happening on January 1st. So if either jump in the water or go support those people, applause warms them up.
Thank you for waking up in Provincetown.
Wherever you are.
Really
We'll see you
fun.
next year.